Right now, it is my happy privilege to turn the service over to our pastor, Sister Rose. Please welcome her as she comes.
I'm so grateful for his blessings and for all that he's done for us. We are so privileged that he would love us enough to give his life. And yet when you look around at men, you see them going in opposite directions. Not in any way toward God, but away from God. And I think as never before, we need to turn our hearts to him. Most of us have lived and done what we wanted to do. It comes a time in your life that you need to go the other direction. At some point, you should say enough is enough. I put God on the shelf behind everybody. It comes a time in your life that you need to make him number one. I am so thankful that over 50 years ago, I made a decision to follow the Lord, and I've never regretted it. It gets better every day. So when I see people feeling like they got to go somewhere else and party and let it all hang out, when you get through letting it hang out, the only thing waiting for you is hell. Think about it today, that I need to get my life right. Every message that comes across this pulpit is saying something to you about your life and what you need to do. And if you don't make that decision, it's going to be a very sad day when you come to the end of the journey. You got to make up in your mind, I want more than this from my life. You know what people are waking up saying? Is this all life got to offer me? You've never got the real thing yet. When you get the real thing, it makes a difference. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to Ezekiel, the 34th chapter. Father, we're grateful today for your blessings. We thank you because you've been so good to us. We're so glad that you loved us more than anybody in the whole world. I pray now that you would reach out and touch your people and minister to their needs. Cause them to be stirred about who they are. And God, we love you because of all that you've done for us, all that you didn't even owe us. We want to say thank you today. The 34th chapter of Ezekiel says, the word of the Lord came unto me saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God unto the shepherds, Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flock? You eat the fat, ye clothe you with the wool, ye kill them that are fed, but you feed not the flock. The disease have you not strengthened, neither have you healed that which was sick, neither have you bound up that which was broken, neither have you brought again that which was driven away. Neither have you sought that which was lost, but with force and with cruelty have you ruled them. And they were scattered because there was no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. My sheep wandered throughout the mountains and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. I want to preach to you a little while this morning in reference to the fact that you know how many people go from church to church to church looking for food. You know what? If you got food at home, you're not going to go anywhere else. You can eat at home. But if you don't have anything, the next move you make is getting in the car and going to Kentucky or Burger King or somebody because I want something to eat. So you find people wandering today, going from place to place simply because they're not getting anything. If I'm getting what I need, I'll never leave home. But if for some reason I can't get what I need, I begin to search for it, and I find myself going from place to place to place. Now, God said the reason why they did that is because the shepherds only was concerned about themselves. Or the preachers of our day that we call them, they were only concerned about themselves. They weren't concerned about people. As a result of that, where do you find them at? You find them alongside the road. You find them somewhere trying to find a place, and then they end up somewhere in the wrong place, looking for something right. Preachers don't preach the gospel no more the way they used to preach it. Not anymore. What they do is just say, come on in. All they want you to do is put some money in the plate. Your salvation is worth more than that. Way more than that. We were in a church in Oklahoma one time, and wow, I wanted to have a headache or be sick or something, that I didn't have to show up at church. Because I didn't want to tell the preacher I just didn't want to come, and why. And I would think if I could just get a headache or something. Because soon as service is over, I'm going to get a call asking why wasn't I at church this morning. The reason why I wasn't there was nothing there. The preacher preached nothing. It was boring most of the time. You didn't have anything. I just didn't want to go. I told my husband, he wasn't a Christian at the time, and I said, you want to go to church? He said, well, I'm not going down there to watch that man scream and holler and turn red and tell me nothing. I mean, he put it so to the point. And I thought, what could I say? Because I wasn't getting anything either, so why would he go? He didn't go. And so I say today, we got too many people all over the country running from place to place, trying to find God, when God should be in every church on this planet, but he is not. He is not. And some people have gone to church, and then over a period of time, they just don't go no more because nothing is happening. They'd rather go to the club. They'd rather go somewhere else. But where they're going to other places is not going to take care of their spiritual needs. It's not going to take care of it. So when I look at this, I am deeply concerned that me as a preacher, as a pastor, that I do my job, that I be sure that when I come to this pulpit on Sunday morning and Sunday night, that I've got some food that you're going to enjoy eating. You may not like the taste at first, but if you keep eating it, you'll love it. If you'll surrender to Jesus, you'll keep loving it. Yes. So what do you get from God? You know what it's going to take? It's going to take people, preachers on their knees. It's going to take preachers studying. It's going to take preachers spending time with God. Not a few minutes, but time with God. Every week, I am in prayer every day. Except on Monday when I leave it free to do some other stuff. But usually from 1 until 4 o'clock. And looking into the Word. And then come out for a minute, about an hour and a half, and go back again for 2 hours. And sometimes longer. But I'm thinking of the time spent for you to be able to have a message that's going to speak to the hearts of God's people. Because, see, I don't know what's going on in your life, but he knows what's going on. I don't know where you are. I don't know how you feel, but I serve a God that if you get in touch with him, he will send a message to you. These people, I am sick. Somebody told me last week that Creflo Dollar and this preacher named Leroy, or whatever his name is, and the people were just coming up throwing money all over the floor and on the steps and doing all this stuff. And Creflo Dollar gets down and starts dancing on the money. I can tell you right now that ain't the Holy Ghost. I can tell you right now something is wrong with that. There is a time to take up an offering and put it in a plate while you throwing it on the floor and they stomping on top of it and telling you how rich you're going to get. Everybody in this world is not going to be rich. It doesn't matter if you give to God or not. Spiritually speaking, you can become rich in God, but everybody ain't going to own a business. Everybody ain't going to be a millionaire. We need to quit lying now, telling them lies to people. It's not true. It's not true. I heard Bishop Jake Southern Sunday telling people, you need to go out there and start you a business. If you've ever started a business, you know it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Just because you got a business doesn't mean you go do business. And how long does it take for you to stay out there and continue doing it before you finally turn a profit. Some of these people don't even have business sense. They couldn't do that type of thing. And this gospel is not about making business in this world. This gospel is about you getting ready to meet Jesus. Yes. Are you ready to meet him? This is what church is about. It's not about the carnal man. It's about the spiritual man. It's about your soul and where it is. It's about where you are with God today. It's not about that. Think for a minute. He said, look at this. Look what my preachers are doing to my people. They're wandering from place to place, over here and over there, trying to find something, because you may not even know what you're looking for, but deep inside of you, you feel that I need something. What is it? I can't put my hands on it, but deep in my soul, I need something. And then you go to church and it's not even there. Somebody's got to answer to God. Somebody's got to answer to God. I'm so glad to hear your testimony this morning about your husband. And I thought, I'm going to call you this week. But I thought, when the music and stuff goes, I mean, he may be white, but he got the beat. He got the beat. And I mean, he's right on time. And I look at him, I told my daughter, I said, look at him. I said, he got the beat, boy. And I mean, no matter what the song is, he's going with it. And so he understands enough, because does he have dementia? Late stage of dementia. For him to remember church. For him to remember Sister Rose. How many days to church? You know, that is the hand of God. It's the hand of God. And you got folks around here that ain't got any dementia. And they're not concerned when the next service is, because they don't plan to go anyway. But think about that. You know what? We ought to look at ourselves and say, wait a minute. If this man could come to church and he knows something is good for him, in the midst of all of this, something is good. How much longer do we have to wait? You're telling me he's getting something. He may not be able to explain every detail, but it's doing something for the inner man, not the spirit's outside man. We put a lot of emphasis on the flesh. We work out, we build weights, build muscle and do weights and all this. But what are you doing about inside? Honey, let me tell you, you can have the body as fine as it can get. If you don't have things right between you and God, it ain't going to matter anyway. It ain't going to even matter. Everything in this life becomes a bore shortly. This life, people are looking for new things, something else I can do. I just don't want to live like this. I need to be happy. I feel like I should be happy, but for some reason I am not. Nobody is going to have true happiness in this world unless you have it in the heart. If Jesus ain't come into your heart and gave you life, gave you a reason for living, I can tell you right now, it's not going to make any difference what you do in this life. You'll always end up with a void. You'll always end up saying, what's wrong? Preachers telling you what God's going to do for you because you gave him $100. No, don't believe it. Don't believe it. I get so tired occasionally. I turn on the TV and somebody's saying, they're talking about maybe like Psalm 66. So you need to send us $66. And in 66 days, God's going to do this for you. And in 66 days, you're going to have 3 times that much. Don't believe the lie. And then they say, oh, I don't want to go to church. I mean, every time I think God's going to do something for me, he don't do it. He didn't tell you that. God didn't tell you that. He said they said it. He said, and understand, I didn't send them. I didn't talk to them. And they're standing in pulpits all over America lying today about what God's going to do for you, instead of getting people to come to the cross and say, Lord, I'm a sinner. Forgive me for my sins. That's what we need. Lead them to the cross. That's where everything is happening at. Show them that to make the Lord their number one priority in their life. Show them how their life can be full and happy. Show them how they can wake up every day feeling like I can move to the next day. Show them something positive that you're only going to ain't going to get it if you turn your life over to him. Honey, I know what it is to be on the other side of the fence. I was there. I was very unhappy. I was very sad. I was very depressed. You can't tell me when you ain't got God in your life, everything is just hunky-dory. No, it is not. You got to have God. You got to have him. That's why he sent his son. After he created man, he knew man couldn't make it by himself. He knew you couldn't do it alone. He knew that the whole thing in the world was too big for you. And now, what are you going to do? I gotta find the one who makes it possible for me to be happy. You can be happy. You can be fulfilled. Because all that you gain in this world is temporary stuff. Paul says, well, I don't look at the stuff that's temporal. Why? I don't look at those things that are seen. Everything we can see is temporary. It's here today, gone today. But we need God for something that's going to last. This temporary fixes don't get it. That's why people do drugs, and they start off with a little weed, and they start off with a little that, and they keep escalating. You know why? Because they will not completely satisfy you. You have to keep doing more of it and more of it so you can get past this. I just can't seem to get it. That's how people overdose. You don't have to overdose. You can come to Jesus and get one good dose, and that's all that matters. One good dose. Yes. You know what preachers feed you today? They feed you pleasure. They feed you social things. You don't need to come to church to go on a cruise. You don't need to go to church so we can have a party. There's places, joints all around here do a party. Church is supposed to be about God. What he wants for his people. Can we not look to him? Can we not point the people to Calvary? There's a way out of this situation. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how dark your life may be. There is a way out of it. When you think you've been everywhere and done everything, you still go wake up in the morning and say, what can I find that lasts? Because nothing in this world really lasts. They take you to conferences. All of them got a conference. All of them got a book. You know what? At the end of the day, this is all you need. This is all you need. Yes. All this crap, I wrote a book about this, I wrote a book about that. Everything that they're telling you they wrote a book about, you don't need to follow them. You just need to follow the word. It's plain. The Bible says even a fool can understand it. So even if you were a fool this morning, you can read this and understand it. You understand what heaven and hell means. You understand if I do wrong and don't do right, I pay the price for it. You understand I got to do it the way God wants me to do it. I'm not going to make it. That doesn't take an interpreter. Here it is. This is what it is. Why don't you get a hold to this? Show them what it did for you. But these preachers are so no good. They spend more time talking about nothing. I'm talking about nothing and crazy stuff. And I'm trying to inspire you to get up and do something crazy and go over here and go over there. And people are hollering and jumping with it, but it's not food. It's junk food. Junk food makes everybody feel good. It's called the feel-good food. You know, you go to McDonald's, get a hamburger, you feel good for the moment. Get them fries, you feel good. Yeah. But when you get through with it, you don't have anything. You filled your body with junk, and you can't even function. You can't even function. Eat McDonald's every day and see how long you last. You can't function. I got to go beyond that. I got to move on to another place. I can't just eat that. You know what? I don't care how much you love McDonald's. If you eat it too much, you're going to get tired of it. You'll get tired of it. The thing that we need to feed off of is this, and you never get tired of it, and it always has something good and something new to give to you. Why not have this? I mean, sometimes I take my Bible and put it on my chest and say, Lord, thank you for the most important thing in the whole world, and that is your word. We don't have to worry about whether it's going to work or not. We don't have to worry about whether it's going to stand. We don't have to worry about will it be there tomorrow. Just take the word of God, the most valuable book in the entire world, and we look at it too light. We look at it too seldom. We may pick it up to go to church on Sunday, But for the most part, I don't understand it. You don't want to understand it. It's not complicated. It's very simple. And it will change your life forever. You can have what you're looking for. He wants to give it you. If you delight yourself in him. He said, I will give you the desires of your heart if you delight yourself in me. If I become your delight. If I become your joy. If I become your happiness. Wake up, Matt. We don't have time to sleep in church. Yes. Sleep at home. Church ain't a sleeping place. If I can't come here and go to sleep, you should have stayed at home, crawled over in your bed, and turned over again. It's church time. It's truth time. It's time for you to worship. Yes. Worship. So what is this? You watch and see people running around and praising God, and you wonder, what's with these people? What's going on? Get a taste of it. Ask the Lord. Say, Lord, I don't understand it, but give me some of that. If you don't understand it, if he gives you some, you'll understand it. You'll say, that's what makes them run. That's what makes them holler. That's why they shout. You want to give me knowledge from the pulpit, and I'm not against helping people and giving them knowledge about different things, but hey, lead them to God. Let's do that first. All the other things, let's not so much focus on that. Let's get to God. And then there comes a time you will be able to say, you know what? This is better than I thought. Don't ever kick something until you try it, baby. Try it first. Taste it. David said, oh, taste of the Lord and see that he is good. Taste him. Just a little taste will make you come back for more. And the more you get of God, the more filled your life will be. The more happy you will be. The more satisfied and content you will be once you taste it. Quit kicking it. Quit saying, well, I don't know. I'm not into that God stuff. You better get into it. That's the saving of your life. You need to get into it. Because that's why you're where you're at. That's why you're miserable. That's why no matter how you look at your life, you can't get things out. You can't get it together. I got it together. And now I'm telling you, you can too. Because God don't have respect of persons. What he's done for one, he'll do for the other. So he said, these preachers, I'm angry with them. When I see my sheep wandering on hills and valleys and have nobody to take care of them, nobody to help them. Preachers is not a 9-to-5 job. This is something we do around the clock. I never know when I have to get up in the middle of the night because of a crisis with a person in this church. I never know when I plan something, I have to unplan it. I never know what I'm going to be required to do. You got to be able, if you need to, not some crazy joker that's just going to wake up to preach in the middle of the night, but I'm talking about got some real issues. My uncle that was a pastor for many years in Sparta, Illinois, he had a member call him in the middle of the night around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I want to know if you could come over and pray. And he said, honey, what seems to be the problem? Well, my cat's sick. You want me to get out of my bed at 2 o'clock in the morning? Do we care about animals? Yes, we do. I had one, the cutest little poodle you ever seen, spoiled rotten. Yes, I love animals. But don't you call me at 2 o'clock in the morning to come and pray for your cat or your dog. You know, go on to sleep. That dog don't have a soul. When that dog or cat dies, they go back down to the earth, and that's it. They don't have to repent. No matter how many people they bit in their lifetime, they don't have to repent. Yeah. Now, nobody wants them to go. I didn't want mine to go. But I had no alternative because the veterinarian said, Rose, she's overlived her time. She was only 3.5 pounds when I got her, and she moved up a little bit more. He said, dogs this small don't last long. But because you loved her so much, you gave her so much love, that's why she just hung on. But it got to be a time she couldn't, because she came to church every Sunday more than some people. It's the truth. put her back in the office, and she knew automatically you have to be quiet. It's church time. She knew that. I'm amazed how much these dogs know. That's amazing to me. And when they sing the dismissal song, she would get up at the door and stretch out and sit there and wait. It's time to go home. She knew it. You open the door, she's waiting on you. It's time to go. My daughter's got a little cockapoodle, and that's the smartest dog. Now, he gets a treat, and I'm getting back to this. Hang on, let me tell you a story about this dog. He gets a treat at 9 o'clock every night. And you can say what you want. That dog, I know he can't tell time. I know that. When 9 o'clock comes, and I look at that dog and I thought, are you kidding me? And she said, you're not getting it right now, Socks. It's 9 o'clock. You got to give him that treat at 9 o'clock. We got dogs that respond more to love and attention. God wants to do the same for you. See? And when my other son goes over to the house, he always have given him one vanilla wafer. When he comes in, he goes to the kitchen, sit like, come on, where's my vanilla wafer? And not leave until he gets it. Once he gets it, hey, I'm gone. I wonder, how can animals have enough sense to know when they taste something is good and you ain't never tasted God to see what he's like? That dog would never know that treat was that good if he hadn't tasted it. But something about it made him say, I need another one of those, and I'm going to set my own time at 9 o'clock. And he got it. And he got it. God is saying, I've set the time. Man's bounds are set that he cannot pass it. Meaning from the time you were born to the time you died was set from the day you were born or before. So we all got a limited time. Some of us die early. Some of us die later or whatever. But we all got a set time that we die. So God says, now I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to tell you when you're going to die because I want you to enjoy the time that you got. Because I'm telling you, if every one of us knew the exact time we were going to die, this would be one messed up world. People running around in a panic, scared to death. You don't understand, it's my last day. People would be miserable. God said, I ain't going to let you know that. But I'm going to tell you this. Your time is set when I'm coming back for you. Now, all I tell you to do is be ready, prepare, be ready. Because if you're not ready to meet me, you haven't served me, you haven't given me your life, I'm going to say, I don't know who you are. You can't tell him, well, I went to church sometime, and God, I was a good person. He got a record on every one of us. All of us, he's got a record. He knows what you're doing every minute, every second of the day. So when you think you're hiding from somebody else, you're not here because God's looking down. He sees everything. You're not going to be able to argue your point when you stand in his presence. Don't buy the thing that if the preacher's doing it, I know I can't do it right. Don't model your life after any preacher rather than what the word says about you. The word tells me what to do. Tells me how I have to prepare for the kingdom. Tell me that I got to do it right. And they got mega churches everywhere. You know why? Because we can party. They got eating joints in the hallway. What's the coffee place? Starbucks in the church. I mean, you almost can go shopping to these larger churches. All this stuff is there. You think, did you come to church to hear about God, or are you going out here to Starbucks and get you some coffee? Think for a minute. What am I here for? Hopefully you didn't get up to church this morning just because somebody asked me to, but I got up because I think I need to go. I need something in my life. Perhaps at this church I might get it. See, I've been everywhere. Yeah, you may have, but give it one more try. Give it one more try. I guarantee you every Sunday you come to this church, you're going to get something that is delicious. Delicious. Yes. So I need to take a look at my life and see where I'm at now. You may not have heard of this. My husband was a military man. There is a place that is called the DMZ. It's the demilitarized zone that divides North and South Korea. Now the DMZ, nobody will survive there. Nobody. You better not try to get in there. It's a border. It's a bumper. North is over here, South is there. And they got tanks, they got mines, landmines all down in this groove here. And there's American soldiers standing, and there's Korean soldiers standing, and you better not even tempt to get too close to that. It could cost you your life. I was alarmed when I looked at it and done some study about it. I thought, these are all Korean people. Why do y'all have this big block between you? Why? Because somebody wants to say, I want to be free, and somebody over here said, I'll let the dictator tell me how to do it. I thought of that, and I thought, that's kind of the way people are. The DMZ is hell. If you fall in there, you never come out. Nobody that ever came in there ever survived. They shot them, or landmines got them, or something. It has more artillery and things that will kill a person there that you wouldn't find anywhere else. And people, I read about this man that had went. He said, I don't know, he had to be insane. He said he was going to go across the DMZ, and so he think he could help North Korea. I thought, are you kidding me? Were you that stupid? What made you could make it through there? Nobody else makes it. And they got him out just before he would cross the DMZ. Somebody got him out. It was kept a secret. They flew him out. And they still, to this day, what would make you think you could change that? When God is over here, the devil is over here. This is the DMZ. If you fall in here, and I call it hell, because you never escape. Nobody would ever escape that. Nobody could ever get out. But the devil tells you what, you know how much you tell people, well, man, you ain't getting ready to get on hard drugs. You're just going to get a little weed every now and then. You ain't getting ready to go out like that. You're going out like that. Because everything the devil starts us out on is small stuff, only to bind us even more. It binds you in a place where you can't get loose. Think about it. The longer you put off serving God, the more likeliness that it's going to be that he is going to have your soul. Don't put it off. Don't say I'm young. Young people die. It's no difference. Death has nothing to do with age. Babies die. You're going to leave this world. I held a little 3-year-old girl in my arms. Her mother, way back when, it's a long time ago, the baby had cancer. Boy, that thing bothered me in a way I can't explain it. And the way the baby was, she's already with hospice when I met them, and the way she was struggling to breathe, I just felt so sorry for her. Her little chest was just coming up and just shaking. And I asked her mom, I said, can I hold her? She said, yeah. So I held her in my arms, and I began to pray. And I said, Lord, touch this baby, and don't let her breathe hard, because the mother she was just almost torn apart every time she watched this deep breath, labored trying to get it out. I said, Lord, the mother don't need to see this. And I put her in my arms. I turned a little bit to the left, to the right, and I said, God, please let the breathing become normal. And in a moment, she began to breathe normal. And she stayed in my arms until she died. And when she died, her body went. And so I still didn't tell her mother she's gone. And after a while, she said, she okay, Sister Rose? I said, She's gone already. I was ripped apart inside to tell this mother that was the prettiest little girl. 4 years old. Oh, God. And I began to talk to the mother. But Jesus got her now. I know you want her. I know you'll miss her. But let me tell you, she couldn't be in better hands than with Jesus. She really can't. You have to somehow, as a pastor, ask God for the words to say to hurting people. People that don't know about their tomorrow. What am I going to do? Everything is bad. Nothing's going right in my life. Get Jesus. Your life will turn around. It'll become what you always wanted it to be. In time of crisis, in all of our lives, we need somebody. And you need nobody like you need God. Think for a minute. Oh, my God. No matter what the crisis is in my life, I know he's there. I know everything's going to be all right. Even when it hurts so bad, I know I'm going to get through it. Why? Because of him. I know. He's there to help me. He said, I won't never leave you. I will be with you always, even to the end of the world. I'll never leave you. You don't get that kind of promise from anybody who can keep it. My husband said to me, I'll never leave you, honey. When I had the dream, the Lord was getting ready to take him home. And I said, honey, I had this dream that you died, and I was crying. And he said, I'll never leave you, but you don't have the power to stay. Well, God took him away. You can't stay just because you love me. You can't stay just because you want to. You can't stay just because, okay, I need you. Every person is going to say goodbye to somebody. Every person in this building. And you've already said goodbye to some people. But it's going to get closer and closer. Where do you turn to? Who do you talk to? I got to talk to Jesus. That's how I make it. The morning I was going to, the day of my husband's funeral, I got up that morning because I had promised him if he died before me, I would preach his funeral. And because nobody could tell our story like I could. And that morning I got up, went downstairs to the desk and sat there and began to look at the message that I was going to preach at his funeral. And I will never forget, that morning was the morning of all mornings. This is something I made a promise for, and I got to keep it. And I made it that day. In fact, that was probably the happiest day of my life. And after that, the pain just about felt like at times it would kill me, but God was there. Understand something. You don't want a preacher who don't know what to say to you. Maybe he's drunk. Maybe he's had a little weed. That you really don't know his life. You need to know your pastor's life. You need to know who they are. You need to know whether or not what they're telling you from that pulpit, they're living that. I was counseling with somebody the other day, and they said, you know, Sister Rose, at our church, our pastor would go out the back door with some of the other deacons and things. They were smoking cigarettes, and he'd go out there and smoke. I said, you don't need a pastor sucking on cigarettes. Because what else are you doing? That's not all. One sin never stays by itself. It multiplies. So God wants you to have somebody. You don't want to get stuck in the DMZ. That's hell. You can't get out. When the rich man said, send my brother back and send Lazarus back and let him tell my brothers, don't come to this place of torment. For I am tormented in these flames. Tell my 5 brothers, don't come here. He said, no, Lazarus is not going back. Do you remember in Lazarus' lifetime how he suffered, how he was poor? He laid outside your gate looking for food, and now he's in heaven, and now he's blessed. You want me to let him go back for your brothers? They got the prophets there. Let them hear them. No, he's not going back. When you get in the DMZ, you ain't going to get out. Are you close to that? Does it somehow don't look like it's that dangerous? Those people are about one thing. That's about kill anybody who comes here. You cannot survive it. Preachers need to preach about hell and heaven. You don't hear that on there. They're telling you about going on the next trip. Hey, we ain't going to stay here forever. Hell and heaven is real. We better at least let people know when you leave this world, you either go into one of the other places that it determines on how you lived your life. Not get you a business. You're going to die. Why waste the time? If that's your thing, okay, well and good. But that's not what the pulpit is about. I should be directing you to Jesus. Telling you how good your life can be with him. I need to make sure you hear this. I spend so much time before God because I don't know, Lord, who's going to be there Sunday. Give me the message that will touch these people's heart, that will cause them to think, that you leave this building today thinking, oh, I never thought about it like that. This day, think about it. I don't have to live my life like this because you know the end is coming. It is very unlikely that you will fix your life in the end. You don't have that much time. You don't have that much time. Death is sure. Life is uncertain. What are you going to do with it? See? So we got to get it together and make up in our minds, you know, I'm going to make it. I can make it. I need to be in a good church, a church where the truth is being preached. For you shall know the truth. The truth shall set you free. If nobody's telling you the truth, you can't get through it. You cannot do it. You got to have the truth. Recently, when President Trump went over to Korea, they made it official that he not go anywhere close to the DMZ. Because they don't tell him who will kill him. Because that's a horrible place. But you know what happened? People started missing. Where are people at? Where are they at? Missing and wondering. Why ain't you in church? The architect who done the design for our new church that we're going to build, and that's a picture of it up there, and one's out in the North X area. And I said to Harold, Harold, he was an excellent architect. I said, why don't you take Sundays for God? I said, you never get no time for God? He said, Rose, I don't have time. He said, I got so much business to do because he would fly out of Colorado and all over the country. And I said, Harold, but just Sunday? You could do the same thing in 6 days. Don't have time. I never will forget it when I got the news that plane went down in wide field of security. Went down in the earth. And you know what? When it came down like this. And it buried itself. The only way they could tell the plane was there because of the blackness on top of the ground. And it just started going down. And I remember his wife said, and it was on a Sunday, and his wife said, he called and said, I'll be home in a few minutes. I'm in Denver now. We're getting ready to board the flight that brings you to the Springs. Never seen it. Just think, if he had have made a Sunday off, he'd have never been in that plane. And it upset me so bad. And I said, I can't believe this. And the condition of those bodies, you got ground beef. There is nothing there. By the time they got through digging that plane out, you know what they said? We don't know yet why that plane did that. Never did get the reason. When you should be in church and you somewhere else, people dead because they was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Should have been in church. Should have been serving God. Should have made a commitment. Should have said, I need to change my life. I need to get it together. If you don't, surely you'll wish that you had. The time will come where you're going to look at your life and say, you know what? Don't wait till you're so old and decrepit till you can't do nothing for God. Here you come in. Come on. Give him some youth. Give him some good times in your life. Serve him while you are in your youth. When the evil days come now. and the years draw nigh. When he would say, I don't have no pleasure in you. Want to come to God when everything is wore out. You done gave the devil your whole life. Then come time for God. Here you come. You get saved. You don't know if you're going to even be able to remember Jesus by that time. Get it together. Say, Lord, I got to do something with this situation. Quit telling yourself tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. We could be here today and not be, and by evening gone. You say, I'm not sick. I'm a healthy person. Healthy people die. Healthy people. That nothing's wrong with them, but they died. This morning, I cannot say it to you enough. The importance of not putting it off and letting it go. Listen what he says about the prophets. For the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. They have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood so that men could not touch their garments. They cried unto them, Depart ye, it is unclean, depart, touch not. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, They shall no more sojourn here. The anger of the Lord hath divided them. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priest. They favored not the elders. They didn't want to hear. God said, I'm having nothing to do with you because you don't want to hear this. But then you got prophets that's committing sin. Go look. The preachers are doing it. That's one thing shouldn't happen. If people sin, tell them the truth. But don't you do it. That's why a lot of things are not being touched. That's why hell and heaven is not being preached. Simply because they know they're going to hell and they plan to take you with them. When it comes to hell or heaven, that's where you make a decision where you draw the line. I'm not going down here. I don't care how much I'm supposed to love you. We're not going to hell together. I'm going to heaven if I have to go by myself. Because that's okay. There's a whole lot of folks in heaven. A lot of them in hell too. There won't be a quiet place. Think about it. Who told you some lie that you was all right? I told a man the truth about himself that was at this church. And he left. He got mad as if I cared. And he went over to this other church. And some preacher lied to him. He sent the word back to me. Tell Sister Rose, yeah, she told me such and such, but this preacher over here told me what a great life I'm going to have. He said, don't believe the prophets that tell you there ain't going to be no storm. There ain't going to be nothing wrong coming to pass. Oh, yes, it is. You better know who's talking to you. Know their life. Do they live what they talk about? These preachers don't live nothing from the pulpits of America. God got a few in this country. But most of them on the other side of the fence. They're going to hell and they're going to take you with them. You decide. No, I'm not staying in the church because my grandpa bought the third pew. Well, you know, his name is on it. And I don't care if his name is on 5 pews. If you ain't telling me the truth, I'm out of here. The truth don't always make us feel good, but it sure does do you good. Yes. Yes. My grandmother used to whoop me with them Peachtree switches, and I wanted so bad to take it and whoop her with it. She's whooping me with them switches, talking about, I'm doing this because I love you. I thought, oh, really? This is love? I wanted to say so bad, if I get the switches, I'd beat the crap out of you. But you know what? I better think it and not say it. Now, you think you're getting a whooping, you getting ready to get a double whipping. We respected our elders. Kids don't respect nobody no more. Young people don't respect. Just whatever you want to say, you said, and your mama and your dad and everybody just listen to it. I don't have time for it. Listen. God is saying, I don't want my sheep wandering without a shepherd. Preachers are important. Their job can be very, very demanding. The burden sometimes gets heavy. But you got to do what you got to do. Whatever it takes to get these people to the kingdom, God is expecting you to do it. And I promised him I would do it right. I don't understand these preachers got to have a lover on the side when you got a wife in the bed. What's the problem? I said, my husband been gone for 25 years. I am the same wife that he left. Nobody's been in my bed. Nobody's been in my life, because they went around the city telling a lie. Charles wasn't dead 3 months, and they said, you know, Sister Rose is engaged. People know they can lie. I'm not engaged to who? Where is he at? I'm not engaged to anybody. I said I would never marry again. My husband, I told him, never did. That's not what I'm supposed to do. What I'm supposed to do is preach this gospel. And then if I make you mad, hey, so what? We're not going to apologize for truth. You wouldn't be the fool you are today if somebody had told you the truth. It would change your life. As a bird that wandereth from the nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so doth the sweetness of man's friend by hearty counsel. It says, if you'll listen to what you're being told and quit picking everything to death, just do what you've been told. Look, you got to understand, you'd have every right to get mad with me, and they do get mad with me, but I don't care about that. I'm the messenger. This book was here before I got here. Before you woke up and realized you needed to hear it. It's here. It's not going to adjust itself. It's not going to adapt to what you like. It is what it is. God has spoken his word, and he ain't taking it back. So what do? I conform to it. I accept that. There's so many people don't have a clue how bad they are because nobody ever told them. I got to look you in the face and tell you I love you, but here it is. You want to go to heaven or go to hell? The man that came to our church some years ago, God really saved this man. It's remarkable. He gets in the prayer line. Sister Rose, I can't make it without a woman. I had absolutely nothing but disdain for him. I just turned and walked on down to the next person. You mental-minded idiot, you. You don't think God can give you grace, huh? Because you don't want grace. You'd rather have the woman. But no, God, what these women here for? You better get your mind on God. If the woman come, amen. If she don't, you still amen. Go forward. Go forward. Yeah. Can't make it without this. Nobody can live like that, honey. This is the 1920s we live in. I mean, 1900 or whatever, 2000. Yeah. And I'm so glad I'm an example. Because the Lord said your message will carry a lot more power when you tell people they need to seek me, and they don't have to have the opposite sex if they don't want to, because your life is going to be a testimony. That's why I don't have a husband. Stand up, Rose. When he's gone, yeah, you could preach about you ought to do this and do that. And yeah, she got her husband. I don't have one now. How about that? So you better crawl out that bed with that man. If you're not married, get up. Go home. If he's waiting on you in the bed, say, get up and get out of here. What's wrong with you? I've been to Sister Rose's church. One woman was here one Sunday. Her boyfriend told her, you don't want to go to Sister Rose's church. She preaches against all this stuff. And she said, no, I want to go. So she came. And she got back. He was there in the bed waiting for her. And she pulled up a chair and she said, I can't get in that bed. He said, And why not? She said, I can't do that. He said, you've been in Sister Rose's church. She messed up everybody's mind. I don't mess up nobody's mind. I tell them what the truth is. The truth is the Bible said marriage is honorable. Marriage is honorable. The bed's undefiled. Whoremongers and adulterers, God said, I'm going to judge you for it. I didn't write that. Everybody shacks now. I mean, shacking. And my daughters are so dense, they out and meet some new people, and they pregnant and said, are you pregnant? What do your husband think about it? I don't have none. He said, I thought I shouldn't have asked that. In this day, don't ask that. In most cases, there is no husband. There's a lying lover in the bed that claim he loves you and parked his shoes under there, and he ain't going to do nothing, but when time comes, going to find him something new and leave you laying right there. You just, I didn't know he told me he loved me so much. How could he do this to me? These men are liars. Not all of y'all. Not all of you. There are some good men in this world. You just have to find them. Some men say, you got to find a good woman too. Yeah, I agree. So if that makes you feel better, I'll include that. You just see him look at you like he's talking about the men. And she got a thing against men? No, I don't. I was married to one for 35 years. No, I do not. So before you go out here and tell a lie, she got a thing against men, man. I went up in that church that Sunday. At the time she got through putting men down. I ain't putting nobody down. I'm putting sin down where you're at. I love you. I love you. This is love. This is what my grandmother was telling me. I love you. Anybody that don't tell you the truth don't love you. That's a fact. And we got truth and people loving us all mixed up. If he loved me, he wouldn't be talking to me like that. Yes, we would. I had to tell my son that brought a girl home from the Navy. He said he's going to marry her. And he brought her to home so we could meet her. And I looked at her, I thought. I said, you going to marry her? Yeah. And my son was the one that he going to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. So I got her by herself, and I said, honey, are you in love with David? Why are you asking me that question? I said, that shouldn't rile you up because I asked her. You should say, that should be, yes, I do. She got mad. I don't even think it's fair you even ask a question. I thought, I'm his mama. I'm going to ask a question. So I said, well, why are you getting upset? Because I asked you that if you love him, it wouldn't make you upset. Well, I'm not answering it. I said, okay. I went back and told her, I said, David, that girl do not love you. I said, don't marry that girl. He said, Mama, you don't understand. I said, I understand. I've been here a little while. Longer than you. We've seen a lot. She ain't in love with you. Well, she done got the ring and everything. And I got on my knees. I said, Lord, I need you to change my son's mind. I said, he's getting ready to make a mess of his life. Give him a mind to listen. I just prayed just an everyday prayer. And the Lord spoke these words to me. I will not forget him if I live to be 100, and it made a difference. He said, turn him over to me. So I went back to my son. I said, I don't have to worry about you no more. The Lord said, turn you over to him. He said, she's gone. She's gone. If Mama said, the Lord said, it's law. Because they know I don't lie on God. He says, she's out of here. Broke it off instantly. You say, well, how you know that was God? It must have been him. I couldn't break through. God did. And he didn't marry her. He ended up marrying a nice little island woman. We love her to death. He loves her too. So she's a real woman. He said a lady, Mama. She's a lady. Because some things you was looking at, lady don't apply. Slut. Whoa, cut it, Rose. Hey. I hope you feel okay. I want to pray for you. If you're mad at me, still come up in the prayer line. Come up in the prayer line. Who was that? My friend Eric. I prayed for him one time in the prayer line, and my daughter was a church counselor, and she counsels people. And Eric coming up in the line, I said, what's wrong? He said, I don't like Juana. I don't like her. He said, she just be telling people everything. I said, I know. I said, that's okay if you don't like my daughter. Let me pray for you. I prayed for him. He's sitting back there grinning. Now he's just as happy as a lark. We're not here to hurt you. We're sent to help, to rescue you from where you are. Love us for that. We love you. Musicians and singers, please come. While they're playing and singing, I want you to think about it. Even though I don't like her right now, I think I'll go up for prayer. Let me pray for you. By the time you get up here and I hug you, you'll love me to death. Everybody loves my hugs. Everybody. People talk about it 20 years later, that hug from Sister Rose. You know what it is? The hug of Jesus. The hug of Jesus. I love people. You say, if this is love, God help me. Everything I said this morning was making me feel like dirt. I'm not trying to make you feel like dirt. I'm trying to make you understand you're a sinner and you need to get saved. You need to get saved. Y'all give us a song, and while they're getting the songs together, stand to your feet and don't feel embarrassed to come forward for prayer. Everybody needs prayer. The preacher needs prayer. Everybody needs it. Come forward.
Have you any time for Jesus? Can it be life's longest blue? Does you have no time for Jesus, who has spent his life for you? Oh, soon the summons from the portals of the mansions in the sky. Oh, it may be sad.